What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 33 of the Alchemy Devlog. It's Isaac here with the latest updates from the dev team, like game trackers, character sheet updates, dice roller updates, and some sneak peeks at what we've been up to in System Builder. I'll also take some time to take a look at our roadmap and talk about what we're working on next, and of course, close out the episode by answering some questions that you all have sent in since last time. Let's dive in. First up, let's take a look at the new Game Trackers feature that we rolled out this week. I'm going to create a new game. We'll call it Devlog 33. We'll go with custom for this one and just start there. I'm going to go ahead and add one of my test accounts here. As a player. Okay, game trackers. These have been long requested, and they're kind of a necessary feature for a few of the titles we've been releasing lately, like Coriolis. I think Fallout's going to be making use of them extensively, and future systems as well. And they're just a generally good thing to have around in your tools, which is why we put them in this new tools tab on the GM side of things. So if you click in here, this is where actions have moved. So you used to have a GM actions panel. That's now down here at the bottom of the tools panel. And at the top, you have a new section for game trackers. These work mostly the same way as character trackers do. You can create a tracker, give it a name. We'll call that one New Tracker 1, not very exciting. You can set the current value of the tracker and the maximum value. So we'll have a bar tracker that can go up to 10 here and a current value of 1. So as the GM, I've got this tracker on my side now. The player doesn't have any visibility into that tracker yet. It's still private to me. I can also create another tracker here. We'll create a pip tracker. These can go up to 6 units and they show pips just like on characters. You can click to drag and drop these to rearrange them if you want to have your pip tracker at the top or to rearrange trackers however you see fit. Of course, with pip trackers, you can click to quickly adjust that value. And with bar trackers, you can do the same. Just click on it to quickly adjust the value that's in that tracker. If you need to make bigger changes to the trackers, you can right click on them and you've got some options here. Adjust is the same thing as a single left click. It just brings up that quick adjust. Edit will bring you back into the edit page where you can give this a new name or change its type, current value or maximum value. And share will let you share this with the players in your game. And of course, delete will get rid of the tracker. So let's jump on over to the player side of this. I will go ahead and create a cool character here. Create a new one called New Character. And I can create my own trackers as a player character, of course. So we'll call this one Player Tracker. And we'll have it just be a bar, 10 out of 10. Now back over on my GM side of things, I'm going to share my player into the new tracker 2, the pip tracker here. So I'll click share, and this uses the same familiar UI that we use for sharing things like handouts and NPCs with players. So you can quickly share with everyone by flipping the switch here at the top, or you can click on individual players to share individually with them. In this case, there's only one other player in this game, so we get the single option here of that new character. So now that I've shared that with them, you see that this updates to show shared, and if I right click, I can see their avatar here in the share menu to let me know that that's shared with them. And over on their side of things, that tracker has now showed up down here beneath their trackers in a game trackers section. So they have access to this. They can edit it. So they can update to make that have a value of 3, the current value of 3. And if I jump back over to the GM side, you see that that's updated there as well. And they can even jump in and change everything about the tracker. If they wanted to make this a bar tracker, they could do that. And back over on the GM side of things, that pip tracker has turned into the game bar tracker that the player edited it to. So just that's open to your players. They can adjust those. They can edit them to change them. So if that's not something you want your players to be doing, just have that conversation with them. But the resources are there in case you do want to have a global resource that is tracked and adjusted by everyone at the table. You have the power. And of course, the rearrangement of those works for players as well. They can jump in and drag and drop to move the game trackers around as well. So if we share in this new tracker 1 with them, that will show up over there. And they can, oh, actually players can't move these around. That's right, I restricted that. So players cannot move trackers around. The GM sets the arrangement of them. But that is of course reflected for all players. Over here we've got them in the new order that the GM specified. So most of the power goes to the players as well. But again, just have that conversation if you don't want them to be mucking about with the trackers. These will be great for things like darkness points in Coriolis, and there's a resource in Fallout that will be tracked in there. I can think of other systems where this would just generally be useful in most games to track things like clocks in Blades in the Dark, and just everything and anything you want shared with players. Lots of great uses for this feature, and I'm excited to see what sorts of interesting things you all come up with. So if you come up with a new thing, let us know what that is on our Discord or somewhere else, and we love to see that. Great, that's game trackers. Let's take a look at a slight change to the dice tray since last week. I'm going to go ahead and jump back into the game that I created last week, which is not on this account. Let's go back over to our Devlog account and go into my games library and take a look at the Devlog 32 custom dice universe. If you caught last week's last episode, I created some custom dice tray actions for this custom system to show off how you can use the new dice roller to roll arbitrary numbers of these. And we have a slight change to this week. If we were to create like a 2d20 action, for example, and make that straight up dice roll. And then go into our custom game that uses that dice tray. The way that this works has changed slightly since last episode. It was passing this 1 in to make that 1d20 before. Now it's going to be passing that 1 in and multiplying it by the number of dice in the action. So if you've defined a 2d20 action in your dice tray, this will now roll that 2d20 action once. If you roll it twice, it's going to roll that 2d20 action twice. So you'll get 4 d20s in that action. Small change in behavior. We think that this makes more sense for it to behave this way. It's consistent with when you hold shift and roll an individual version of that action. It does make ad hoc rolls where you want to add like one more die a little bit more difficult, but the solution for that is just to add another action to your tray that's like 1d20 in this case, and then you can mix in 2d20 and then 3 1d20s on top of it. Mix and match down there in your dice tray as you see fit. You're going to see some very cool stuff coming out related to this next week for Fallout, so stay tuned for more there. All right, let's head over to character sheets real quick to take a look at a global change that we just rolled out for those. I'm going to jump into my character library here and take a look at a new character. We'll go with 5th edition. Sure, why not? We'll create a new character, Barry Blue Jeans, the human fighter. We rolled this out for System Builder specifically, but it's touching every character sheet everywhere because it's just a nice feature to have. You can now edit your character name inline at the top of the modal. Just click to start editing it right there. And you can even edit this subtitle line here if you don't want it to be kind of a smart subtitle based on various attributes of the character. For 5th edition, we use a combination of the character's level, race, and class. To build this, you can override that by clicking on it and putting whatever you want here. Cool. And that will, of course, save with that character. So now that is reflected everywhere that this character has that subtitle. This was mostly done for System Builder Sheets, as I mentioned before. We are going to stop using the character name field on System Builder Sheets and just have it up at the top of the sheet in this way. So expect to see that rolling out in more places as we build more systems with System Builder, but you get to enjoy the benefits of that on all of your other character sheets today. Speaking of System Builder, let's jump into some cool stuff over there. Okay, let's take a look at the new System Builder features. I'm going to go ahead and create a new universe here. We'll call it Devlog 33 system. And we're going to use that as the game system as well. So this will be a custom system. I'm going to jump in here and go to the System tab and create a new sheet. So we'll call this one Devlog Player. And we'll publish that so that it's available to all players. And let's edit this sheet. So we made a few changes in here since last time. Of course, none of you have access to this yet, so you know. But we've gotten rid of the name and archetype blocks, smart blocks, in favor of the new editable header that you saw. So you can click in here and just edit this. And edit the subtitle as well. Let's call it char. Okay, so a couple big changes that I'm pretty excited about. First off, we no longer have default tabs. The last 3 tabs are not filled with actions and equipment and trackers. We cleared those out, and now you can have whatever tabs you want in whatever order you want. So if you wanted to have a single page sheet, that's now possible. We'll call our tab all of it. We have some cool things to show related to attributes and skills. So I'm going to put a list of attributes on my character. We'll go with the additional attributes, which gives us a sort of vertical list of those attributes. We'll put the skills below that. And then let's just throw on the other fields. So actions, which I think we need a header above that one. So we'll drop a header there. We'll call it actions. And items. I forget if we need a header for this. We'll just put one in and delete it if we don't need it. Items. Now let's take this item smart block and drop it beneath that heading. And then lastly, we can put trackers at the bottom of our single page sheet. And of course, we still have smart blocks for things like the tactical section and description and all of the other basic blocks that I've demoed in episodes past. So let's exit edit mode on the sheet now and create a template character. So we're going to add an attribute. We'll call it brains. And a second attribute called brawn. And then for our skills, let's create computer hacking skill, which will use brains, and a fighting skill, which will use brawn. These will be important when I create a game from this system here in a moment. The action stuff works just like it did when it was its own tab. You can create an action here using whatever action types you would like to use. We'll just throw something in here. And now we have our punch action on the sheet. Same with items. You can create a new item. Have it start on the character if you so desire. And the same with trackers. We can customize our primary tracker and secondary tracker, which show up prominently in the UI, and we can also add additional trackers here. Psychic points. Let's make that a pip tracker and give it a maximum of 3. Why not? Okay, so that is our sheet all on one page. Let's go and create a game from this system and try it out. Oh yeah, I did name it Devlog 33 system. And we'll go ahead and add my test account here. Okay. And play them. Now I can select that sheet from the drop down here. I can create Devlog player, which is what I had named that. And it will create a character using the template that I had defined in the sheet itself. So we have this new smart skills panel that renders in the skills panel using the fields that we had set on that sheet. So we've got the computer hacking skill that uses brains and it has a value of 0. And we've got the fighting skill, which uses brawn and has a value of 0. This includes two features. One isn't shown here, pips. I'll go back and add those here in a moment. The other is the ability to select the attribute that this skill should use when you use it. So you can click on brains here and say, I want to use computer hacking with brawn. That's sort of how you'll be able to do that. We have some next steps here that we're going to be working on very soon, specifically for Fallout, but for any system that uses this sort of feature to be able to roll these in a very cool way. And I can't wait to show you all how that works. You'll see it next week live with Fallout. But let's go back into our system because there's one more feature on those that we can take a look at, and that is the pips for skills. So if we edit the sheet and we click on the skills block and open its configuration, we can define categories for skills to group them into different categories. So these could be basic skills, and we can give the pip tooltip something like trained and turn on use pip to show a pip in that skill button. So now if we add some skills here, we'll use fighting, which uses brawn, and computer hacking, which will use brains. And you have this nice little pip here to indicate being trained or having expertise or whatever it is that it means in your system to have a little pip there. And we can also create another skill list beneath that one. Haven't tested this yet, so fingers crossed. We'll call that advanced, trained, and this will also use pips. We'll add another skill here. And we should have 2 categories of skills on our sheet now. I'm going to go back to our game, probably create a new character for this player. From our Devlog player template. And here we go. We've got our skills panel rendering out with those pips on the side that I had added, which indicates whether or not this character is trained in that skill in this case. And they're also grouped into sections based on the titles that I'd given those categories of skills. So we've got our basic skills of fighting and computer hacking, and our advanced skills, which includes advanced hacking. Pretty excited about that bit of skills update for the sheet builder and system builder stuff. So we've got a long road ahead of us with sheet builder things, but it's coming along nicely and we are releasing new stuff with it all the time. Fallout's going to be a huge system that uses all of the sheet builder features that you've seen today and more. And that should be landing on Alchemy next week. So we'll be wrapping up this stuff just in time to get that out there to you all. Okay, let's check in on that roadmap. Let's take a look at what's going on. So, streamer mode. I mentioned last time that I would be jumping back into streamer mode. That didn't happen because I've been helping out with Fallout stuff. We needed to go all hands on deck to get the Fallout things ready. So, streamer mode has not made any progress since last time. Tactical token customization. We still have a couple things we want to do here, and we'll be getting to those soon. And then we are very deep in on all of these systems. We're building out sheets for them all, kind of all at the same time, and building out features inside of System Builder where we need them. The next one up is Fallout, which will be coming out next week. And then we have Dragonbane sheets all done with just a few things left there. So Dragonbane shouldn't be too far behind that. And we're building out a bunch of other sheets. Of course, all these are in progress, so we'll be getting more and more of these going on as time passes. A couple of exciting updates that aren't listed here, things that we're building for Fallout specifically, but in a general purpose way for any system. We're giving dice pool actions an upgrade to allow you to specify a dynamic target number. So you could have a roll under target that is a combination of skills and abilities, for example, or a static number. You could have a roll over target. We're going to have a lot of options there for customizing your actions to define what your target is when you're using a pool. And we have some really cool ideas that I kind of alluded to for how we're going to mix and match rolling skills in System Builder games to be able to bring arbitrary dice into that roll at the same time that you're rolling the skill, in addition to changing that attribute if you want to or need to for a specific roll. And then I'll be getting back into streamer mode once Fallout has settled. So I anticipate having some progress on that done by the next devlog, but probably nothing to show. Maybe something to show, but nothing live yet. However, I do think we'll have the streamer mode first release sometime this month, April of 2024. We should have something out for you all on streamer mode. So look forward to that. All right, let's jump into the Q&A. In-person mode. Hello, I love Alchemy, and with all the additional content you're putting out, it's quickly becoming my go-to for all my VTT needs. One thing I was wondering if there are any plans on also giving Alchemy the functionality to support in-person play at the table. Specifically, what I mean is something akin to a cast feature where I, as the GM, can cast my screen onto a second monitor, like a TV laying flat on the table, or a travel screen or something, that all my players can see so I can continue to share art and scene images and even battle maps, but cast it in such a way that the players don't see all the GM roles and setup behind. I would really love to be able to use Alchemy for my in-person games, as the focus on scenes and theater makes it perfect in my mind. Hope that makes sense. Martin. Yes, thank you, Martin, for this question. We have some really cool ideas to help make in-person play something that you can do as a kind of first-party thing in Alchemy. We have a lot of interesting ideas that we've documented internally and a lot of excitement around making this happen. We don't have a solid timeline on when we're going to be doing this, but I do think it'll happen in waves. So the first wave will be coming up this month with streamer mode. I think that streamer mode will not be intended to be used in this way, but it could probably be used nicely in this way. So you'll have basically a way that you could show another view of your game on another display through streamer mode. So it should work, but it won't be the intent of that mode. The second, which will be later on, is in-person mode. As I mentioned, we do have some ideas around how that could work and be very cool for playing in person. And I think that that will be kind of a multifaceted approach with things like Chromecast, as you mentioned, and AirPlay, as well as new interface elements and layouts specific to this kind of in-person mode. I think it'll be a long time before we get to that, probably like later this year at the earliest, if we can get to fun things like that. But yeah, we love the idea and we're excited about it too. So it's definitely something we want to address in the future. All right, next up, another one from Martin. Tactical mode, world maps. Are there any plans of adding a token layer to the tactical view? The reason I'm asking is because I would like to have a world map for one of my games as a tactical map for the first scene, the sort of intro scene, and as the campaign progresses, the players will discover new locations that would be great to mark on the map with tokens. Alternatively, this could be done in universes. So if I set up a universe for my campaign, added the map, could there be an edit function where I can add pins and link module articles? That would be even better. Martin. Yeah, so I forgot to answer this in text here. I'll update that after the video. But yes, basically, I think you could do this today with your first scene in your game, having a tactical map, and then just create NPCs and drop the NPCs on the map and name them after your locations and keep them on the map there. You could even put, description, including the things for for that location and link to articles. Definitely a bit of a hack, but I think you could do it with, enough kind of massaging and ignoring the sort of intention of different things like NPCs. I will say that we've played with some very cool ideas around this idea of a world map, and it's something we'd love to support as a first-party thing. I don't know how soon we'd get to something like that, but for today, I would say play around with some ideas there and see what you can do with a tactical map and some NPCs. In the near future, we're also going to be building out the notion of props for your map. So that'll help a lot in this as well. And that's sort of tied into the tactical map upgrade that I have listed on the roadmap for different token changes. So I think that'll help a lot with this sort of feature too. So hope that helps. Coriolis video series. Will there be a Let's Play series for Coriolis in the same way we had them for Vaesen and Tales from the Loop? Also for Martin. Yeah, so we do want to have a How to Play video series for every system on Alchemy. Not sure where Coriolis fits into that list of priorities, but I think it'll happen eventually because we do want to have great resources for how to use Alchemy to play all of your favorite systems. All right, another one for Martin. Universe sorting. Are there any plans on allowing us to sort purchased universes alphabetically? Absolutely. We need sorting and filtering pretty badly on these ourselves. Some of our staff accounts have, 100 or more universes to sort through, and it makes finding them a little bit challenging. So it's a priority for us kind of internally to ease that pain as well. So yes, thank you for the reminder on this. It's kind of been back of the mind for a while, but we'll get this on our list sooner than later. Bags. Lunar asks, is there a way to create a bag type of objects which could be filled with other objects? No, there's not currently, but I love that idea, and I went ahead and added that to our feature backlog this morning. So we've got that captured, and I think we will probably build that eventually when we get through our backlog of V1 items. Great. That is the end of the questions for this week. All right, that's the end of the episode for this week as well. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, head on down below, smash that like button, subscribe for future updates. Go check out Kids on Bikes. It's on our marketplace now. We just released it this week. It's a cool system where you play kids on bikes and you do fun stuff. And it's got some pretty special alchemy elements to it as well. There's an alchemy enhanced version, all that stuff. So if you have a question you'd like for me to answer on a future episode of the devlog, go ahead and look for that link down below. You can send that question in and I'll go through it on the show. Thanks for watching. Let's go play some games.